Welcome to We Are Libertarians. My name is Chris Spangle, and I am live at Porcfest. I normally have a whole phony baloney intro, but I'm not going to do that this time. Just check out wearelibertarians.com, and you can find out everything. I'm live here at Porcfest with my two very hungover friends and podcast.
Hungover isn't the word there, Chris. I'm fucking destroyed right now.
You walked in, Johnny Adams, from the... it's not the Johnny Rocket Launchpad anymore. What is it now? It's Blast Off.
It's Blast Off.
All right, I'll say it for you because I'll help you.
Yeah, thanks.
And also Marc Clair from Lions of Liberty. Marc, how are you?
Roar.
Yeah. He's wearing his shades. Johnny walked in like a...
I'm going to be wearing these shades all day.
Didn't Johnny walk in like a 75-year-old truck driver, hunched over?
I thought Johnny was literally a zombie when he walked in.
He literally looked like it. Your cohort... Howie Snowden from Lions of Liberty.
Our audience of, well, two.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Thanks.
All right, audience of one.
We're an army of one.
This we're gonna have to speak to Rodger about this board. This board is
garbage.
Fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little garbagey.
Yep. You use it.
It's a trash can. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Trash can. Yamaha usually makes a good product, not this particular shortage. So we are live in the
propaganda up here.
I know. Well,
Everyone's pushing this crypto stuff. I've never heard of it. Do you have any thoughts on it? Just kidding. I've heard of it.
I've heard of cryptocurrency, mostly here.
I own like 10 of them.
It's the ADD is already out of control. Let me get through the intro, boys. All right.
The joke is you never get through the intro. I thought that was the running gag.
My ADD I thought was bad until I met these two. And Rodger I think is just as bad. Like last night, it's 4 conversations going on between 4 people at any given time. It was very, very. Let's say so we are in the beautiful mountains of New Hampshire, near Lancaster, New Hampshire, at Rodger's Campground, not Rodger Paxton's, but that's the name of it, for Porcfest, this is the 15th year of Porcfest. It is an annual gathering of libertarians and anarcho-capitalists and probably some syndicalists running around here, too.
Yes, and don't forget the Jesus haters here, too.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. But they also had, there was, some...
they had, like, a problem or something.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
There was a fight?
We're down the street.
You've been here all week, haven't you, Johnny?
Unfortunately, yes. No, actually, I'm having a great time, but that's the problem. I'm having too much of a good time, and it's starting to catch up to me now. So here I am, fucked up. I am seriously fucked up.
How old are you, Johnny?
I'm 40, and I feel like I'm 75.
Right, okay. I knew you were probably around my age, but maybe slightly an uptick older.
Yeah.
And here comes Rodger Paxton, everybody.
Oh, my God.
Welcome.
No applause whatsoever.
Liberty on. Wow.
We got a fuzzy board here, Rodger. You got a fuzzy board. Is this your board?
That's no way to talk about Rodger's.
Rodger Paxton just walked in. We're doing the League of Liberty here soon. Do you want to hop on over there, maybe share with Marc? Yeah, that'd be great.
Come eat this mic with me.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do this little piece of magic here. Let's pause for a brief second. We just had to set up the mics. That's what's going on. It's pandemonium here. It is approximately 10:30 on a Friday morning, and I feel great. And I remember everything that happened last night, and I have been recounting it for everyone who doesn't. Marc, how much of last night do you remember?
I recall everything.
Okay.
I'm a good drunk usually.
You didn't seem like you were that drunk.
No, I was all right.
Johnny...
I just did it for a long time, over about 14 hours.
Right.
And now I feel like Johnny looks.
You need to drink water.
Well, I'm drinking a Bloody Mary, and I've had a Gatorade already.
Okay,
so,
all right. Yeah.
Let's just say I've done this before.
Okay, all right.
Got a system down.
I'm just worried about your hydration.
You should be.
As my listeners know, I'm aggressively hydrated. I've already had a half a gallon of water this morning. I'm still sweating, but that's just normal for me. I run hot, so. As I walk through this place, I don't want to be sweaty as I hug the hundreds and hundreds of women that are here.
Thousands.
That are flocking.
By my count.
So Marc Clair runs Lions of Liberty. Can you tell us what Lions of Liberty is for those who don't know, who don't listen?
Well, Chris, Lions of Liberty is the only libertarian variety show out there.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but we like to say it. Now, we have 3 distinct shows every week. I host a show every Monday where I interview amazing leaders in the libertarian movement or other people. I also host some debates. host roundtables, and then every Wednesday, my man Brian McWilliams, who will be here in a little bit later, he hosts a show called Electric Liberty Land, where he goes through news, current events, and that sort of thing from more of a kind of a comedic point of view. Then John Odermatt, who also will be here later today. He's actually here now. He's just, I guess, still in bed.
You
he
brought
hosts, Felony Friday. What's the about?
Odermatt. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
not a
it's a
fan.
problem.
Yeah.
Not a fan. What do you mean?
No, I'm just
He's
kidding.
everybody's favorite.
I said to Marc last night, I was like, I need to feud with somebody from Lions of Liberty.
Damn it.
And it can't be Marc because I'm already feuding with Rodger. And so
I think Howie's the best feud candidate for you.
Howie seems like he can take it.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah. So
Anyway, Felony Friday is on Fridays. That's
Right.
it's probably our most important show because John interviews many people that have been through the criminal justice system and have experienced all of the hardships that go along with that. So I think that is honestly the most important thing we do because he really focuses, like you do with the cost. It's a kind of a specific focus on actual kind of instances of injustice in our system. So
Right.
yeah, we tie that all together and we call it Lions of Liberty. There you go.
And lionsofliberty.com. So I love Lions of Liberty because he and Johnny both interview a lot of interesting people. So, with my show, it's very topical and we're talking current events. And with Lions of Liberty, you get that, but you also get to hear from people who know stuff, who are like...
Right, because I don't. So
Right.
that's why I need to bring on people who do.
Right. So that is a great podcast to check out. Now, enough of the advertisements. This is your first time at Porcfest, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. What do you think?
I've had fun.
Yeah?
Saw David Friedman milling about earlier.
The old poon hound.
It's
That's right. To explain that joke.
it's really fun even just meeting you and Johnny and Rodger, people I've known for years. It's so weird. And then suddenly all the voices we've all heard have faces on them that we've also seen. It's just a very odd thing coming together. But
it's exactly right. It's hard. When I sat down across from Marc yesterday after years of hearing his voice, but never seeing you mysteriously don't post any photos or any video of yourself at all on Facebook or online.
I'm not a big selfie guy.
Yeah.
If you stalked me, there's plenty of pictures on Facebook. I just don't do it that
no,
much. My
not-
current profile picture is He-Man with a wink face, though, so I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, and so I didn't know what you really look like, and then all of a sudden your voice starts coming out of a face I didn't
And you
recognize.
just-
It's very
yeah,
odd.
You just started melting.
Right. So, Porcfest has been a lot of fun. The trip up here was just as much fun for me. I landed in Boston and drove up through New Hampshire, had lunch in Concord, New Hampshire, which is maybe the most beautiful town I've ever been in my life. It was like Pleasantville. Do you remember that movie?
I've not actually seen the film.
Okay.
I remember its existence, though.
Yeah, but a perfect town. It was just beautiful and great food. The Hangover Burger at the Britain Tavern or whatever it was. And then it took me 4 or 5 hours to get here. I think I told you guys I was going to be there at 4, and I ended up at 8. But
no one's ever been more excited to see anybody than Johnny seeing Chris come in with 2 packs of Marlboro Wides.
Johnny, as you can tell, he enjoys cigarettes. He and Rodger are having a smoke break right now, and he didn't have any cigarettes. He didn't plan ahead. See, I'm an Afrin addict, and so at all times I am constantly prepared. I always have my Afrin. So
Is that good stuff? What was that
it's
for?
great. It shrinks
Isn't
your
that
nasal
allergy
vessel.
meds?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's really good stuff.
We'll have to talk later.
It doesn't get you high.
Pop a couple of these into my drink.
Yeah.
I don't need to be high. I have I think this New Hampshire is giving me allergies too. On top of the not minor hangover I have, there's a nasal situation.
I went and
going
bought Claritin D at the Rite Aid before I came, so I've got some in my car.
on. What's the D for?
It's basically like yes, it stuffs a dick in your nose, and no, it basically is pseudoephedrine. So I am all over the place. Anyways, back to the drive up. New Hampshire is maybe the most beautiful state I've ever been in. I mean,
It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, you're from California. You're from the LA area. It's probably pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
We have coasts and city skylines.
right.
This is a nice mountainous background.
It's 70 and sunny and picturesque. It's beautiful. I thought about, as I'm sitting in Concord yesterday, I could live here. This is beautiful. But then you realize when you see all the ads for snowmobiles, it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
Not going to move here. But
I grew up in the cold, and one of the reasons I live in Southern California is because I was sick of being cold, and I don't really ever want to be cold again.
I've been to San Diego, and it's pretty much the most perfect weather.
San Diego's nice.
Yeah, like San Diego, LA. It's just beautiful, perfect weather. So Porcfest is a gathering of anarcho-capitalists, and it's probably a few hundred people, and there's a bunch of tents behind us.
I was told 1,500 are expected in total, but we shall see.
Yeah.
They are not here yet.
Yeah. And so there's a bunch of tents. It's a campground, so there's a bunch of tents, and then people have, pop-up trailers with, they're selling various things, food. You had some amazing chicken from Will Coley last night.
Awesome chicken from Will Coley. If anybody's here, when's this posting? Soon? Today?
Probably Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well then, next year, go to the Cultural Appropriation Grill if Will Coley is here again, because it is fantastic.
It's
chicken
so good.
Shawarma was superb.
It's so good that you're going to vote for him, whatever he runs for.
It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
Right. And
Libertarian dog catcher? Check. You got my vote.
Food, the Libertarian Party, Free Talk Live, which is a talk radio show that's syndicated nationally, which, let's be honest, Free Talk Live and LRN.FM, which I appear on. I don't know if you're on LRN.FM.
Yeah, I am.
They have their stuff together, man.
Not like us. They're pros.
They have a tablecloth and a booth and bumper stickers and banners. They're legitimate.
Got the propaganda down.
And
unlike me, I just came with T-shirts with my podcast on it that I wear. That's it.
With a piece of radio equipment called a Comrex that's it goes back to their studio. I'm very impressed with LRN.FM. I wish I could meet any of them, but I don't think they're here. Let's not get into that.
They just sent the propaganda.
Right. So we are basically the League of Liberty is a podcast that Marc and I do with Johnny Rocket and Rodger Paxton. And we get together about once a month and record a little ditty and post that hour-long show up into our Patreon group. So if you're a Patreon member, then you can listen to the League of Liberty podcast. And, I've known Marc and Johnny for a couple of years. I've known Rodger for almost a decade now. And I haven't seen Rodger since 2012, 2011. And never met Marc and Johnny, so we all decided to come here and visit beautiful New Hampshire and do an episode of the League of Liberty together and just hang out. And so we will be recording that right after this episode of We Are Libertarians. And it's really like a great community. It's everything Rodger and Harry have said it is. It's a group of people who have similar interests and I wouldn't say similar lifestyles. There's a lot of different lifestyles represented here, and that's sort of how libertarianism is. You've got a lot of different beliefs, personal approaches. Even amongst our group, there's me who, I drink only water. I am a teetotaler. I abstain from everything. And then there's Johnny, who's on the opposite end of that, who has been... He
is on the opposite end of that.
He's made it his mission to get me wasted this weekend.
I don't think Johnny drinks water.
I'm going to force it down him.
I attempt to drink water while I drink.
Right. You pace yourself.
I'm trying to be in between you guys, but I end up drinking more of the alcohol at the end of the day, to be honest.
Then there's Rodger. Rodger's so cute. We were talking about sports last night. He's like, the only sport I like is boxing because it's violence that's voluntary.
Rodger's the first person to ever call me tall. I'm not kidding. He's like, I got to sit next to you tall guys. No one's called me tall. I'm like 5'9".
We're like,
max.
Yeah, like 6
Probably
feet.
more like 5'8.5".
And it's just people camping out and just enjoying the community. And there's some debates and podcasts. We're in the podcast room, which is in the upper room. It's like your summer camp. That's basically what this place is like. If you went to summer camp and you pitched a tent and people were selling T-shirts and hemp pretzels and books and all kinds of different things, it's really like a fun, neat place. I definitely. Having been up here, this is something that probably 5 years ago I said I would never go to Porcfest just because I was working for the Libertarian Party and basically I was treated so poorly by so many anarcho-capitalists. I was like, I just don't want to be around them. But now that I'm here...
Everyone's very nice.
Everyone is extremely nice, and it's nice to set your biases aside and get to know people from a realistic human point of view. And I think that, Marc, is really one of the points of a lot of what I talk about, but also libertarianism in general, is that cooperation demands that you are meeting with different people and you start to see their humanity, and so you cooperate with each other better, and you're not, ripping children apart at the border because they're others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting around a campfire is the best way to do that.
Was that fire not that was the most amazing fire I've ever been on.
That fire was, what's the word? Volcanic. It was extremely hot, and then if you stand 2 feet to one way, suddenly it's 40 degrees again.
It's the
Walk
first.
another 2 feet, you're burning hot again.
It's the first time I've ever had a hot ass. Okay, the rest of the time it's a little flat. But no, it was like I felt like one of those rotisseries. I was like the tornado dog at the speedway.
As long as you slowly rotate, you're fine.
Right. It was fantastic. It's easy to stereotype a place like Porcfest, and that certainly exists. There was a lot of skunks running around last night.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Is that
maybe
code for something?
That was code for weed. You've never heard of that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I'm out of the loop.
Yeah. No, you're not out of the loop.
We don't use code in California.
Right.
It's been legal for like 20 years. We just say what it is.
But yeah, I would recommend come to Porcfest. It is, even if for a couple days, just the trip up to New Hampshire. Like, it's been relaxing and it's an amazingly beautiful country.
I heard a rumor that you're considering trying something this weekend.
So,
do you want to go into that at all?
Yeah, sure. I have been debating. See, I don't drink. I've had one sip of.
We tried. There was a moment last night where 4 of us tried to get him to drink whiskey.
Yeah,
I
including.
defended you. I was like, "Come on, we're better than this."
Including the beautiful
drink
Jess
it.
Mears, and I'm like, listen, it's not going to work. I have no problem when other people drink. Obviously, I'm friends with Marc.
Got a Bloody Mary right here, folks.
Right. I just personally don't partake for many different reasons.
Your life is probably much better for it. I don't feel wonderful right now.
I just don't. There's so many reasons. Let's go into the reasons. First, I don't see the point of drinking poison to make yourself feel bad the next day.
Well, I don't think that's anyone's original goal.
Right.
It's just something that will happen eventually.
Right.
Possibly.
And alcoholism runs in my family, and I have.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. I would definitely be an alcoholic. When I get stressed, I sit there and I'm like, you know what? I need a vodka tonic. You're like, you've never drank in your life. No, you don't. That's a bad impulse. So so I don't drink, but I don't have the same hang up about weed at all. And I would definitely try weed. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you being the expert from Southern California,
I've just read a lot of books about it. That's the only reason.
You seem like you can control the outcome a little better. It's seems like I need to be calmed down, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing it can do for you.
Yeah. I would be an emotional, over-the-top drunk. I'd be Bert Kreischer, basically. The machine. So we are up here at Porcfest enjoying ourselves. I'm going to talk to Rodger. So that's a warning for you. But Rodger and Johnny have disappeared. So what I want to do is, while I go look for Rodger and Johnny, I want to have a conversation with Jess Mears of the National Libertarian Party. She's up here representing. Jess and I have known each other for a long time, and she works for the National Libertarian Party. And I posed a lot of tough questions, some of which even I wouldn't let her answer because I didn't want her to get fired. But had a great conversation with her and then a Porcfest attendee named Marc about the state of the Libertarian Party. So without further ado, here's me. All right. I am here with Jess Mears, the development manager. I keep forgetting. My ADD just keeps skipping. It's Jess Mears. You're the development manager of the National Libertarian Party.
That's correct.
All right. Why are you looking at me like this fool? Jess and I have known each other for almost a decade. You are originally from Ohio, and so when Ohio and Indiana were part of the Cabal states back in the 2010, 2012, we got
Don't forget about Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, Kentucky. Oh, Ken Molman. What a devilish character that boy is. So, known each other for a long time, and I don't know what you were doing, probably insurance or banking or something boring, and then you ended up working for the National Libertarian Party. How'd that happen?
Well, I actually was working in local government, so I was saved by the Johnson Weld campaign.
Not many people can say that.
Yeah. So working for some local government in Florida at the localist level, and then I was offered a job on the Johnson Weld campaign. And I took it, and after the campaign was over, the party was looking to hire a couple extra staffers, and I was very, very fortunate to receive one of those positions.
Awesome. So what would you say you do there?
I am a jack of all trades. I do social media for the party. I make phone calls to our members. I answer questions. There is never a commonality in my day working for the LP.
Right, which is nice. It's got to be your dream job.
Actually, it is. And I remember as a college student, I think it was in 2008, I donated money to the party for the first time.
Right.
I got a letter in the mail. We send out a lot of letters in the Libertarian Party. And I saw a name at the bottom of it. And I was like, wow, that is so cool for someone to be in charge of the third largest political party in America, the one that represents my ideals. I was like, I definitely want to work there someday.
Right.
And I've got it. How many people can say that?
Yeah, no, and you travel around all the time. I mean, if you're involved in the local Libertarian Party, you probably have met Jess at some point. I mean, how many state conventions have you been to this year?
I've been to quite a few. It's been a real pleasure getting to go to the state conventions and seeing how different and unique our state parties are. And they're really made up, and the character is made up of the people that are in it and the people who are willing to put the time and commitment into it. So I have been going to a lot of state conventions, and what I do there is ask for feedback. A lot of people have a lot of ideas on the Libertarian Party and suggestions, and I listen. And there's been a few times we've been able to actually implement some ideas that people have shared with me. So we're always listening, always trying to improve the party, and just making sure that our members know that the National Party really does care about their state and local parties.
What are some of those ideas that you've heard that you can implement?
Sure. So Kevin in Wisconsin, he ran in a special election, and he said he didn't really feel a whole lot of support from the National Party. Unfortunately, we were not aware of his race until after the election was over. So I did follow up on that to find out what happened there. And he said that one of the ways that the National Party could help candidates is by helping them collect signatures for getting on the ballot. Because as a third party, we often have there's hindrances in getting onto the ballot, which include either a filing fee or excessive petitioning signature requirements. So we have taken that suggestion and we've built a whole custom website that shows people who are willing to give some time to the party where they can go to be involved with a ballot access petition drive. July 1st is kicking off in New York. Larry Sharpe is running for governor, and he's already raised over $250,000.
Which is insane.
Insane.
I mean, it's like
that's a really nice amount of money.
It's an amazing amount of money for a libertarian candidate, for sure.
Yeah. So that's where he's at right now. And July 1st, that petition drive kicks off. And if there's not enough petitions collected, he's not going to be on the ballot.
Right.
Now, not to worry everybody out there that's now worried, oh my gosh, Larry Sharpe might not make it on the ballot. But there's a lot of time, energy, money, and thought that goes into this. So we really do need support from libertarians to help with our ballot access efforts nationwide. Some states have higher requirements for ballot access. Some are much easier.
Right.
But the ones that really require it, we're working hard. In Ohio, we've got this massive drive going on, and there should hopefully be a vote total, which will then cement that the Libertarians will have continued ballot access from this effort on. So we're strategically doing this, and I don't want to bore everybody with ballot access because it's not the sexiest thing you're going to hear about today.
It's a concern for a lot of our listeners. I mean, I'm from Indiana, where in the Secretary of State's race, you get 2% and you get automatic ballot access. We've had that since 1994, and it's not a concern. You put your name on the ballot, you get confirmed at convention, and you go along. But you know, in some of these states, it's very draconian. I mean, in Ohio, where you're from, even when you get ballot access, the Republicans in your home state revoked ballot access for libertarians. I mean, so ballot access is a genuine concern for libertarians.
Well, you can't keep a good guy down, so we're going to keep fighting.
What happened in Ohio? Were you there during all of that?
I actually wasn't. I ran for office in Ohio in 2010. My filing fee was $85. I had to collect 25 valid signatures, and I was a candidate for State House, or State Senate.
Right.
But things have changed, and I don't know all the details, so I'd hate to misspeak on those.
Okay. There is a little bit of a weird short in this board, so I apologize to the listeners for the wacky little buzzes that you might hear, but it's not Jess's voice.
It's me.
She's not a robot. She's a pretty libertarian female. She may be a robot. We're not sure. So your job is to travel around. What can you pick a few examples of what you see out in the greater Libertarian Party in some of these states? Because I think people have the perception that the 12 people that are constantly fighting online and causing drama, that is the Libertarian Party. So as someone who is actually visiting these states, what is the Libertarian Party and what does it look like from an organizational standpoint?
Well, sometimes people pay a little bit too much attention to Facebook. And
you don't say.
I know. I know. But when I've been going to these state conventions and then I meet people that they probably put in a 40-hour week at their job.
Right.
And then probably a 20-hour week working for the Libertarian Party at the state level.
Right.
These people give a lot of themselves. They don't have time for Facebook wars. Mm-hmm. They're very busy being activists and growing the party. So I think you don't get to see a lot of the people that are doing a lot of the work and really trying to keep the momentum going. Those people are really busy. And if you maybe go to a state party convention or a county affiliate, you're going to see the people that really care behind the scenes and a lot less of the drama.
Right. So when you say doing the work of the party, what does that entail?
A lot of outreach. There's a lot of people who are registered voters. We have over 500,000 registered Libertarian voters. Our party membership is about 15,000 people.
Right.
And those are national party members. But it's reflective as well with the state parties. You have a couple dozen people that are really involved and then thousands of registered voters that need to be contacted and asked if they could possibly run for office or help someone run for office or come to a tabling event and just tell people about liberty.
Right. Cool. So what is the purpose of the National Libertarian Party? What is the actual goal, in your opinion? I know you're just a staffer, and so you're not speaking on behalf of the party. Here, I'm asking you your personal opinion because a lot of people quibble whether the party should be about ballot access, should it be about candidate support. There's limited resources, so you can only choose one. I mean, in my mind, what I've seen over the last decade is that the party tries to do it all and doesn't do most of it well because they're splitting those efforts. But it seems to be more effective under Nick Sarwark, the office. He's hired people like yourself, Kara Schultz, for candidate recruitment. But what would you say the overarching mission of the Libertarian Party is currently, and what do you think it should be?
Well, I don't think you can separate ballot access and candidate support. They have to go hand in hand because they're going to be a complete failure without one another. Mm-hmm. So you have to keep both of those things strong. That's why we're aggressively fundraising for ballot access. It's going to cost $35,000, I believe, for New York, for Larry Sharp's, and for all of the other candidates in New York as well. But that's going to be $35,000.
Right.
We have made some investments in additional staff this year. Kara Schultz is our candidate recruitment person. We've had a lot of difficulties with recruiting candidates due to so many different reasons. Republicans and Democrats are trying to poach our candidates. There's definitely examples of that happening out there. So she is aggressively working to help candidates get on the ballot and getting them through that process. And then we have another person named Apollo Pizzell, and Apollo is very effective at the local level in winning races, and he's working strategically on winnable races. And I don't have a whole lot of details, and I don't think those are going to be public because he is trying to keep these campaigns a little under wraps.
Right.
And
yeah, sure.
But I'm very excited to see how this it's a project, it's a pilot thing, how this pans out. And definitely after the election or at some point, I'm sure the Libertarian Party is going to just talk so much about whatever it was that he did. I know he's doing some test messaging, some A/B testing, that kind of thing with these candidates.
Yeah, and for instance, Andy Burns is doing state party support. That's something that is new. That has not been... Andy was like a freak of nature. He took Minnesota from nowhere and made it a powerhouse, and then now he works for the National Party helping state parties. And I know even Indiana, one of the stronger state parties, has relied on a lot of Andy's talents over the last couple of years. Since I left as executive director, and you don't have a full-time person in the office, you need some functions that fall through the cracks otherwise with volunteers, and that's something that the state party has stepped in. So like I said, when I say that Nick Sarwark has improved the office, these are some of the examples. I'm not going to ask you about the chair's race. I think it would be probably career suicide and or inappropriate if I did.
No comment.
Yeah. But you've been around for about 10 years. And I know that you're the fundraiser for the party, so you're probably going to have a positive answer. But where do you think the party is now compared to where we were a decade ago?
So when you and I were in St. Louis at our national convention, I was 20 years old.
Right.
And looking around at that national convention, there weren't many people my age.
Right.
There weren't people my gender.
Mm-hmm.
And the liberty movement now has changed so much. It's so much more diverse. There's so many more young people. And it's definitely, I think, I'm inspired. And I'm not backing down anytime soon.
Right.
I think things are for the better. I think we need to shift a lot of our messaging and our efforts onto millennials.
Right.
They're the biggest voter bloc right now. And they're also voting independent. 44% of millennials are registering no party affiliation.
Yeah. Are there things that you'd like to see in general? I mean, there's always, by and large, I found most libertarians are, how do I put this? Not the stereotype or not the extreme ends, but are there things that we say or do that get in the way of your work as just party or non-libertarians, but libertarians in general? Like, if you could wave a magic wand and kind of say, okay, guys, listen, don't do this because it hurts growing the movement. What would those be?
I'm the social media person for our Instagram account, our Twitter. We get a lot of hate. I mean, the Libertarian Party, people say it's a joke. If they could only know the amount of work that we do and the limited resources we have, that would be my magic wand. Like, this is what it's really like, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an awareness. Mm-hmm. That is an odd thing, and that's something that I try to fight on this show, and something that drives me crazy is just the groupthink and the bias that people bring towards stuff without ever actually investigating what's going on.
Like, why is it cool to say the Libertarian Party is a joke?
I don't know. I've always wondered that. It is in a lot of ways. This is not the opinion of Jess Mears. This is my opinion. In a lot of ways, being involved in the Libertarian Party sucks because the culture can sometimes not be great. But that's purely like a concocted, it's just the way that people treat each other. Like, if you just treated each other a little bit nicer, then it wouldn't be as bad. Like, I don't get that. I don't get that strain in libertarians where they beat up on each other so much.
Some of the best people I've ever met in my life are libertarians. They have
thank you.
become my
Thank you,
family.
Jess.
I mean,
That's nice of you.
there's been times where I've needed help in my life. And who was there for me? Libertarians.
Right.
I was just in a car accident a week ago. I got hit by a bus.
You look great, by the way.
Thank
Yes.
you. I
The
had a little bit of whiplash.
The tire tracks on your face, they blend in great with foundation.
Thank you so much. Well, so I posted on Facebook, like, I just got hit by a bus. And Florida has no fault insurance laws, which I've never been in an accident in Florida. So I kind of was like, somebody help me out.
Right.
And, I just lost his name. Oh my gosh.
Rodger Paxton.
Steve Corbell.
Okay.
He called me right away. He's like, hey, I'll help you out. I was in insurance for 20 years, and he called right away.
Cool.
So just quick, to make that story quick, libertarians are wonderful people, and my experience being involved with the Libertarian Party has had a lot of frustration over the years, but the reward has been so much greater. I can't imagine what my life would be like right now without the relationships that I've built. I obviously wouldn't be at Porcfest right now if I wasn't involved with the libertarian movement in some way.
Why are you at Porcfest? Now, Rodger Paxton of Lava Flow and is the organizer, and it's been great to see Rodger despite our fights on the League of Liberty podcast. But it seems that, again, I'm stereotyping. I'm doing what I just said I didn't like, but it seems that this crowd probably would go, oh, the Libertarian Party's full of statists, blah, blah, blah. Why come to Porcfest?
I am here to represent goodwill for the Libertarian Party and educate people on what we're doing. A lot of these people here may not be voters, but I want them to know that we're running libertarian candidates that are running on the ideals that they also believe in and that they could use their help.
What has the reception been like?
It's been great. Everyone's been really nice and friendly, and they're glad we're here. And I have received nothing but love from the Porcfestians.
That's great. Yeah, likewise. Before we do your sales pitch, are you okay? If any of you have questions, I'd love for you to ask any question. We do actually have a crowd here.
Very huge audience
We've got
here at Porcfest.
400 people. All right, I exaggerated by 396. Do you guys have questions for Jess at all? Anything? All right.
A big criticism I hear is Gary Johnson every year.
Right.
Times Republican. He's as statist as it comes.
Why don't you come up here and talk into the mic? Yeah, let's actually put you on the air here. What I will have you do is state your name, and I'd love to know where you're from, what city, town, and then just that mic down there will work. He's a new dad. Looks like what, 3 months? 3 months. He's like, oh, I forgot my son, and he ran back to his seat. It happens. So we got to get real close to it because these mics that's just how they work. So feel free to ask your question.
My name's Mike. I'm from New Jersey. So my problem, I was a registered Libertarian Party member for a few years. I don't think I renewed recently, but my problem just is with, I guess, the Gary Johnson candidate year after year. I just don't think he represents the Libertarian Party. I watched the debate this year with John McAfee, and I can't remember the third guy that was there, but
Austin Peterson.
Yeah. I think you're turning off libertarians. I think the Libertarian Party was probably looking to reach over and get libertarian-leaning Republicans with Gary Johnson, but I think you're going to lose libertarians by running candidates like that.
So let's define a couple things. So we understand what framework you're working off of, because this is another problem I've found with libertarians, is that we all have different definitions of even libertarian, right? So what were specific things about Gary Johnson and his philosophy, or maybe even his style, that you quibbled with, that you found unappealing?
I don't know how popular this would be, but I didn't think his stance, the whole gay couple getting the cake in Colorado.
Right.
That was clearly a publicity thing. I fully support all gay rights completely, but I absolutely support the private property rights, and a person shouldn't be forced to bake a cake for someone he doesn't want to,
right,
in any capacity. And I did that was just exemplified, my problems with Gary Johnson. Just his like, take the, typical statist social justice warrior side, of that debate. And I think it was, again, to attract the libertarian leaning Republicans, but
right. Yeah, part of what he was saying in that is that under common law, if you open a business, then it's inherent that you will serve all people. And I think he just completely botched that. That was my big problem with Gary Johnson, is that Gary Johnson couldn't articulate in an effective way exactly what he thought. And Austin Peterson was grinning and kind of set him up on that. But I do agree with you. I mean, Gary always kind of equivocated because he was trying to be appealing to people. And libertarians generally aren't people pleasers. So, Jess, how do you address the concerns of people who were or are members who were concerned by not just the Gary Johnson campaign, but also candidates that they don't feel strongly represent the libertarian viewpoint?
Well, I definitely understand your concern. My first vote in a presidential race was for Bob Barr. My second vote was for Gary Johnson.
No, sir, please don't puke. Stop. The audience started puking when you said Bob Barr.
And so then I voted for Gary Johnson in 2012. And by the time 2016 came around, I'm recognizing a pattern here. I'm tired of voting for former Republicans. So I actually supported Austin Peterson for president in 2016 because I wanted to support a libertarian. And I thought, Austin was great at messaging,
Right.
and I thought, oh my gosh, having a millennial leading our country would be such a refreshing thing for people to hear. So I supported Austin, and then Gary, of course, got the nomination. I voted for Austin. I think it's very important for libertarians that are principled to be involved with the liberty movement, because you get to make decisions on who is going to be our presidential candidate by being a delegate at our national convention. It's about 1,000 people that make this decision. The people that go from the state parties, they are generally the leaders, the people who I've been talking about, who put in the extra time making sure these state parties are growing and building. They become the delegates, and then they become the voices of all of the liberty movement on who becomes our presidential candidate. So if anybody has concerns about Gary Johnson's performance in 2016, I would just urge you to get involved within the Libertarian Party and become a delegate in 2020. Next week is our national convention. It's going to be July 29th to June 3rd in
New Orleans.
June 29th to July 3rd.
Right.
Yes, said that backwards. It's going to be in New Orleans, and this is not a presidential year, but we do vote on things like party leadership, our bylaws, our platform. We have a really great platform. If you go to lp.org/platform, you can read the Libertarian Party's platform. If there's things that you've seen it that you might want to tweak or a little bit change, that happens at our national convention with the delegates. So you can still come to our national convention if you're interested in coming to New Orleans. You definitely can. There's possibilities that you could be seated with a state delegation that didn't have everybody come. Of course, travel is difficult, so
Right.
there's sometimes people that fall through. So some states will accept delegates at convention, so you can be actually a part of that. So I would just encourage anyone who wants to see something different in 2020 to become involved with the process now, because we're going to have choices. There's going to be people running for president. I mean, the party has grown so much. We are pretty much a household name now, and there will be some fantastic candidates in 2020. I was so pleased in 2016 to see 5 people that were on our debate stage at our convention, and the majority of them I would have had no problem with supporting.
Right.
So I would just ask you to get involved and be part of it and help make that decision.
So, sir, tell me your name again. I don't know if you said it.
Mike,
Mike. All right. And where are you from?
New Jersey.
Okay. All right. I'm Chris. I'm from Indianapolis. This is Jess from Florida. So, Mike, I would ask you back. At this point, the Libertarian Party presidential candidate is probably the most prominent representative of libertarianism in the nation in any given cycle, because we are so in our own bubble, and we have like these quibbles, and we don't recognize that most people barely found out who Gary Johnson was in any way, shape, or form. Does the argument that checking out of that decision making in selecting the most prominent libertarian on the national stage contribute to selecting more candidates that don't necessarily represent your view? Does that argument work for you? Does that motivate you to get more involved?
I'm not 100% sure there. I mean, I will say I still voted for Gary Johnson. I mean, I between the 3 choices, I mean, I thought it was obvious.
It's the lesser of 3 evils, right? Yeah.
I guess would have preferred an Austin Peterson type more, or even John McAfee. Is crazy.
Yeah, I know. And I'm sorry, but I just can't get their own McAfee at this point. I saw Gringo and eating your own dick. Like, you think Gary Johnson was embarrassing? Like, wait until our candidate is eating his own dick on national TV.
And to clarify, I believe that was a bet that he made with the general public that if Bitcoin does not reach $1 million in U.S. currency value by 2020, he will come through with that offer.
And he will eat his own dick. So let me ask.
28. I forget what year it was, but
he's not eating his own dick. It doesn't matter. So I got lost in thought there. And so I guess the question is, why did Austin Peterson or John McAfee appeal to you?
I mean, in general, they just came across as more principled, what I would define as libertarian, and not like a leftover from the Republican Party.
Right. So is it the let's boil it down to a binary, even though that it's not binary. Experience versus understanding the philosophy. You place a higher value on understanding the philosophy versus experience.
I would, yeah.
Okay. And this is a trend that I've noticed. When Bill Weld came and spoke to the Indiana convention, he gave a great policy speech. And it was so uninspiring. And the crowd, even in Indiana, which is a very pragmatic state, was just underwhelmed. And I think Weld, in particular, much more than Gary Johnson, underwhelms libertarians because he just doesn't seem like he understands the philosophy. And this is a trend that I've noticed in the broader politics, is that people want their top of the ticket candidates to be more inspiring, to be more philosophical, as opposed to policy. And libertarians, I think, have kind of, I wouldn't say devolved into that same sort of tribal drumbeat, but to me, what happens if a John McAfee, who is a very principled person, gets elected, but doesn't understand who to put in his cabinet? Now, this is my problem with Gary Johnson, too. So Gary Johnson didn't have a cabinet prepared. He didn't have a policy that he really put out. He didn't, like, what are you going to do on day one as president of the United States? That unpreparedness, I think, is another huge problem that libertarians at every level have. So they just don't know what they're going to do if they actually get elected. Is that a fair criticism, Jess? As you talk to candidates, do they have an understanding of what they're going to do in their first few actions when they get elected to city council, state legislature, president?
Well, that's a really strategic decision that the campaign would need to make. I think my prediction, I constantly think about political campaigning all day and all night.
Right.
And if I were involved in the 2020 campaign, I would definitely be telling the candidate, like,
right.
I do political campaigns. So if I were, involved, the candidate, I would love to see them build the connections right now with libertarians that are leaders in the United States. John Mackey, CEO of Whole Foods,
right.
is a libertarian. Wouldn't he make an incredible person to be in charge of a department?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The CEO of Overstock is wandering around in a gi right now.
These would be people that I think the American public would trust, and changing America, making it more free, isn't that easy to explain how we could do it. But if we could put these people Chris Roofer runs a tomato factory.
A Morningstar. Yep.
Yeah. And the way he operates his business is quite libertarian.
Look, if you go to Reason TV on YouTube and look up tomato, that's the Chris Roofer story. And they basically break down, full disclosure, I worked for Chris. I mean, so he's an amazing guy to work for. So
wouldn't it be cool if we could have America?
Right. So let's say the 2020 elections come around, Mike, and a John Mackey, the guy who developed Whole Foods, is the candidate, but he doesn't articulate libertarianism in a very quote-unquote pure way, maybe the way that Ron Paul created it, but he's a guy that is inherently libertarian, comes and speaks at libertarian events, has created an amazing business that has made him a billionaire, but he doesn't articulate the philosophy in the clearest way, or chooses as a strategic choice to not lead with libertarian philosophy and dogma. How would you vote, or would you support that candidate, or what would you think about that particular situation?
I mean, it's hard to say, but I don't know too much about him, but he seems like a libertarian. He seems like a good guy. I'd like to hear what he had to say, but I'd be willing to give him a shot. Sure.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. So Jess and I ordered breakfast probably about 45 minutes ago. Oh, did you bring mine? Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. That's so nice of you. I appreciate that. So we're gonna pause and eat breakfast, and then after we eat here in probably the next 5 minutes, I'm going to come back and I'm going to continue the conversation with Marc Clair of Lions of Liberty. Jess, you're free to stick around and talk, and love to engage with any of you guys if you guys want to come on and talk, because I'd love to talk to people who are at Porcfest. What's your motivation for coming? Why are you here? And what is Porcfest all about. So please join us after the break. Oh, so Jess Mears. I'm going to splice this so it's not so awkward. All right, Jess, thank you for coming on. I want to hear your elevator pitch. I want to hear why people should get involved. They hear so often why they shouldn't be involved in the Libertarian Party. Tell me why my listeners should be involved in the Libertarian Party and give to it financially.
Well, be the change you wish to see in the world. Do you want to see the Libertarian Party always be a third party, or do you want to see us in the two-party system? Because if you would like to see the two-party system come tumbling down, it's going to take a lot of work and it's going to take a lot of support. So we need all libertarians to be supporting us. And I ask if somebody that's out there listening could just donate $25 a year to the Libertarian Party to be a member. We would greatly appreciate your membership. If you go to lp.org/June, we'll send you a shirt when you join and donate, so you can wear that and spread the libertarian brand awareness by wearing a t-shirt.
Cool.
And so we could just use your support financially as a member. And if you would like to take it beyond that, beyond just a membership, you can become a libertarian activist and get involved either at the county, the state, or the national level. And that is when you get to see the sausage be made.
Okay. How do we do it?
To get involved with your party,
yep.
lp.org/states. You can click on your state. It'll take you to your state party's website, and you can find some of the state. They're all different, but some of the states have their counties listed, and the county chair, you can email them and just say, I'd like to come to a meeting, and they'll give you the details.
Okay.
Facebook is one. If you search for your county Libertarian Party on Facebook, you can do that there. But I'll say the easiest way to get to the local level to connect with people is going to be lp.org/states. And if there's not a county affiliate, you can have the opportunity of building one.
Okay. Yes, there's no chair here. Well, push it right behind you and sit down. You're the chair.
That's right. You can be the voice of liberty in your own community.
All right. So, Jess, I just don't have time to do that. But I'm interested in being involved, but I have a very successful podcast that takes up a lot of my time. What could I do? I'm leading the witness.
You can ask people to support the Libertarian Party. You can ask people to run. You can ask people to donate. I mentioned earlier it's going to take us $35,000 to get ballot access in New York. So lp.org/ballot access is where you can go donate to our ballot access fund. And so give the gift of liberty to the LP.
All right. So at the end of every show, I always give people the chance to say whatever they wanted to say, but they didn't get a chance to. The floor is yours, Jess Mears. Anything that you missed that you want to say? No? All right.
I think I'm good.
All right. Okay. Jess Mears, how can people follow you online?
My Twitter handle and across social media platforms is Jess for Liberty. Just the number 4.
Okay.
Liberty.
Now, as with every female, that when we promote their social media, I always like to remind the creepertarians, don't be inappropriate. Unless she's into it, then. But don't be a creep, okay? All right. Listen, you have to give a disclaimer. Jess, you know as well as I do that you have to. This is, boys, when you go to the convention, don't be a creep, right? All right, she's not saying anything. I'll probably have to edit this out. This is the time when I say stuff where when I end. This is why I don't do interviews. When I end the interview, the guest always goes, "Hey, could you take that out?" So, all right, thanks for joining me, Jess.
Thank you, Spangle.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you, me. I appreciate that. Thanks to Jess Mears for coming on and trying to defend the Libertarian Party. Sometimes it's not easy. I am joined by my League of Liberty co-hosts here. That's Rodger. That sound you hear is Rodger Paxton.
Stripping naked.
Undressing. So just what I wanted for my first Porcfest experience, Rodger nude. Rodger, how are you doing, man?
Man, I am doing fantastic. This is an amazing Porcfest. Having a great time with the League of Liberty. Having lots of alcohol with most of them, and just having a great time.
So let's start with the elephant in the room. The hardcore listeners who listen to the League of Liberty have heard. No, that's not the elephant in the room. That's he's a very
Don't
nice
talk
man.
about Rodger like that.
All right.
Is my mic on?
I've lost a lot of weight. I'm no longer an elephant.
Are we going outside though?
No.
They got to hear this shit outside.
Yeah, no, it's I opened the window. I wanted to Yeah. Oh, you're right. I didn't turn on the speakers. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Wow,
Johnny.
because I was like wondering, like, what
I
the
swear
fuck
it
is
sounded
going
different
on?
a minute ago.
Yeah, it did.
All right. Now, Rodger and I have fought several times on the League of Liberty podcast, but we are bros, aren't we?
We are. Absolutely. There's no question.
Right.
Bros before hoes.
I mean, we were bros before any of these other guys came along. so-
Exactly. These freeloading Liberty LARPers.
Right.
Rodger, so Rodger and I are bros. We're having a good time reconnecting. Much like Galt and Creighton fighting on the podcast several years ago, you've got to have those moments where you fight and you don't get along, and then those become the stuff of legends, and that's where Rodger and I are at. I thought the last League of Liberty was very good.
It was one of the
I
best
think
we've
it's our
done.
best show.
Yeah, exactly.
Subscribe to some of us.
And you guys
Some of us.
actually
All
heard
of us.
me that time, too.
Yes, we could hear
We
Johnny.
could actually hear Johnny.
I was like in the background yelling, guys, wake up! I'm trying to say something. Okay. Johnny, do you have something to say? I'm
For
like,
7 months, every sentence of Johnny's would start halfway through a sentence.
Right.
All right, hold on, because Rodger, the only time I hear Marc is when it is going out over the PA. I don't hear
check
him.
the out. No, he's on.
No, but I don't hear the
Send.
board.
Check your send.
What do you mean?
Chris is actually going to have to edit this episode, and he's going to be pissed.
That's fine.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
I'm not editing my show. I'm going to just post
Is this? Do you have any idea why I don't hear the fourth input into the board? There's another
You
Spangle.
don't hear it in your output on your headset, you mean?
No, I don't hear it in the actual recording.
There's not a send on that.
No.
So to your monitor. What about the monitor volume?
Everything is exactly like the others.
One of these kids is doing his own thing.
You two will pretty much have to share, I think.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I hear you fine in the speaker, but I don't hear you in the actual recording mix.
Maybe it's just because my voice is so soft and soothing.
Yeah. So if you want,
Check, you don't hear me?
no, I don't hear you at all. You're gonna have to share.
Goddamn, Eric July doesn't read any fucking emails.
He's Eric July. He doesn't have to.
He just sent an
I'll
email.
just
Hey,
lean
who
over
I
and
who I
talk into
checked with
Johnny's
about
lap
my
now and
hotels
again.
and stuff. We literally
There it
sent
goes.
you 2 emails about that. Oh, well. You're not recording, are you?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm recording, but I won't put that in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sorry, we had a little bit of a technical snafu with Marc's thingy.
We all thought Chris was a professional. We found out that he is not.
It's not my. Listen. It's your tiny little small board here. It's not
it's
me.
not my board. It's Will Coley's small board.
Oh,
Let's be clear
well,
about
Will,
that.
we need
Don't
to.
bring that up to Will. He'll get offended. Mike,
Well, I don't want
jihad on your ass.
I don't want to
Makes a
offend.
fine shawarma, and that's what's important.
I don't want to offend Will because he's going to be making me chicken later, and I'm very excited about
Yes.
it. So, Rodger, tell us exactly what Porcfest is. What is Porcfest?
Porcfest is a celebration of my favorite white meat, pork.
All right.
So no, Porcfest is the largest U.S. based Liberty conference in the year. It is a gathering of 1,000, 1,500 libertarians in the great, beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, where we just come together and celebrate life and liberty.
Yeah.
And we live anarchy and liberty for a week.
This is the 15th anniversary?
15th. It's the 15th annual Porcfest. So it was a year zero before New Hampshire was chosen as the state for the Free State Project. So there's technically been 16, but this is year 15 of Porcfest.
Has it always been at this campground?
No, so it started at this campground, then moved to another one, and then has come back in the last several years.
Okay. We are starting to get a crowd. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians podcast.
Yeah.
My name is Chris Spangle. This is Rodger Paxton. That's Marc Clair from Lions of Liberty, and that is Johnny Adams from the.
Me and Johnny are sharing a mic.
Right.
I'm basically
Talking into my life.
I'm basically talking into his crotch. For those in the live audience, they can confirm.
Here we go.
Is it Blast Off?
Yes.
All right,
It's
blast off with Johnny Rocket. Now, this is everything that I thought it would be, Rodger. Everything that you said on the League of Liberty podcast that we do for our Patreon subscribers. So if you're part of our subscription services, the
I
premium
got two
stuff,
right here
Aye.
that support my show.
I got
then
at least one.
then you get to hear it live.
Two.
But
Oh, yeah, Howie.
it is a ton of people enjoying each other's company, a community. Marc last night left several $1,000s worth of equipment just laying around, not even worrying about it. The kids are running around having a great time. The scenery is absolutely picturesque. It's an amazing drive up. I mean, Concord was like Pleasantville and beautiful. And everybody has just been super nice and super friendly and exactly what you thought.
We live in a postcard, basically, here. I mean, everywhere you look, there's a picture that you could take that could be on a postcard. It's a gorgeous state, and being up here in these mountains is, every year I just have to take it in, and it never gets old.
Yeah. Now, you do the Lava Flow podcast. Please give yourself a plug.
Lavaflow.com. If you're into, Liberty podcasts, that's the main one you should be listening to. I mean, let's be honest, guys.
I'm turning off your mic.
Okay.
Now, Johnny Adams, you did the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, and you are changing the name. You're changing formats. What are you doing differently now?
Well, it's nothing much. I just changed the name. It's the same damn show.
What is your show?
It's called Blast Off with Johnny Rocket. The reason I changed it is actually I'm starting a media company called Launchpad Media.
Okay.
So I figured it would be kind of stupid to have the show called Johnny Rocket Launchpad and then have Launchpad Media. But right now I'm really excited. It's a new project. We just started last week. We have great talent that is on the actual media company. We have Sherry Voluntary, Alan Mosley, Stephen Clyde, myself, and some really great, awesome libertarians. And I'm excited to do this. And I actually asked Rodger, I'm like, hey, man, if I need help. He's like, I got you, bro. Any questions you got? So
anything for Johnny Rocket.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it. And it's going to be cool because I think our main focus is to change culture. And we, instead of thinking about politics and thinking about libertarianism as politics, I think we should be talking to people of how can we sell this shit to the average, soccer mom down the road and make her want to become a libertarian and come to Porcfest next year, right?
Especially if she's a MILF.
And if she's hot.
That's right.
That will work out really good.
Any MILFs in the crowd?
Right. Any MILFs.
All right.
Chris is available.
Yes.
He's available. He'll be here all week.
And so is Marc. He's been reminding me for 2 days.
Yes. All right. If you guys will, how do people find you, Johnny?
You can find it at thelaunchpadmedia.com, and it's a new project.
Or giving out high fives to everyone at Porcfest.
Yeah.
That's
or
what
kisses
I did yesterday.
or hugs or whatever.
Now,
I gave everyone in the park a high five, and they know me now. So that is cool.
And just to be clear, Johnny Rocket did grab my ass last night. A full-on ass grab.
Did I really?
Johnny,
That's fucking cool.
I'm
dude, if I did that, I deserve a high five.
Here's the thing. I'm from Indianapolis. I'm a Midwestern Protestant, and so I'm very I'm a softie, but I'm very uncomfortable with intimacy and affection, especially between two men. I have never been more uncomfortable in my entire life than Johnny when I brought him cigarettes last night and gave me several full-on mouth kisses. He was very excited about it.
Hey, it's called PR.
Right.
As long as you're on top, you're not. It's called prison rules. As long as you're on top, you're not gay.
I thought it was publicity. Okay, all right, yeah, okay. But yeah, so we're having a great time up here in Porcfest. I know we're supposed to start the League of Liberty, but if you guys would indulge me in maybe another 5-10 minutes, I want to talk to anybody in the crowd who's been to multiple Porcfests. I want to have my audience, which I wouldn't say is, we definitely have anarcho-capitalists, for instance, but I don't think many in my audience would think to come to Porcfest, so I want to hear it from people who actually have attended, why you attend, what you get out of it. So if there are any brave souls in the crowd that would like to come up and talk to the We Are Libertarians audience, I'd love to have you.
While we're waiting for that, I would like to clarify that Porcfest is not for anarchists, just for anarchists. It's for all libertarians.
Yeah,
so we put content on from minarchists to anarchy and everything in between. So, there's going to be speakers up here that I disagree with, and I put them on the schedule because that's what this is about. It's not about me. It's not about my Porcfest.
I thought you bring the whore to church, but you don't let her speak.
That's exactly right.
But you still gave me an hour. So, Chip, come on up. Let's have another Spangler. Let's have a round of applause for a man where we share common heritage. His name is Chip Spangler. Come on over around here.
Chip, are you from the Midwest?
Just
okay.
No, he's from Maryland.
You don't want to share Johnny's lap mic?
Yeah. So
He may like the team. I don't know.
I'm going to steal your mic, Rodger, and just kind of move this one down over. So thank you. Now, how many Porcfests have you attended?
If I remember correctly, this is my 6th Porcfest.
Okay, so why do you come up here?
Well, for one thing, the community. I mean, the community is absolutely spectacular. And as Rodger mentioned before, I mean, the scenery, it sort of recharges me.
Yeah.
I live in Manchester, New Hampshire now. I mean, I used to live in Maryland for a long time, bounced around a bit, and I absolutely love this state. It's wonderful.
About 5 years ago, I was at the 6 years ago, I was at the headquarters of the Libertarian Party of Indiana, where I was the executive director, and then this dude just showed up with my last name. And I thought somebody was punking me there for a minute, but he's like, yeah, I'm just moving from Alaska to New Hampshire, so I wanted to stop by and say hi.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually on my way back from Alaska back to the East Coast.
Right.
So I grew up in Maryland for a while, but no, Alaska's a great state. It would have been a really bad choice for the Free State Project, but it is a wonderful state.
And just to be clear, Chip is also our newly elected LPNH chair.
Yes.
You poor soul.
Yeah, that's me. You got it.
I feel sorry for you. There will be counseling out back before I leave.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So why New Hampshire? Why'd you move here?
Well, the community of liberty is absolutely wonderful. I mean, the Free State Project chose it for a good reason. I mean, it is already a pro-liberty state, and basically all the FSP folks who've moved up here are essentially reinforcements for the liberty community that already exists. And so we're doing what we can to strengthen that and, make it the freest state we can.
What is your favorite thing about New Hampshire?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Is it the women?
Dude, Concord?
So
I almost got on Bumble again. I was.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I think I would just have to say the variety of everything that you can find here. I mean, you've got the seacoast. Manchester's not a huge city, but it's big enough. It's got some of those city things. And you've got this gorgeous, wonderful North Country up here. It's all stunning and spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. So what's your favorite thing about Porcfest?
Everything about Porcfest? Oh, geez. Just reconnecting with people that, I may not have seen in a while. Sometimes I only see them, once a year at Porcfest. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful community. I mean, it's both in New Hampshire and the folks who come from out of state. I know that some people come to Porcfest essentially as a vacation from wherever it is they're currently living. So they want to escape the nonsense that's going on in their state. And you have this free and wonderful community where people interact, where you can spend any of about a dozen different types of currencies if you want, and there's just so much available here. It's a wonderful place to be.
You sound like Rodger Paxton.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So any of you, feel free to ask Chip a question. So you keep coming back to Porcfest, and it's the community. It's in my description. Did I miss anything about Porcfest that people ought to be aware of?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of different things. I mean, it's part campground, it's part conference. It's, I know a lot of people make lifelong friendships just around the campfires every night that, they're hanging out at their tents and that type of stuff. We have, musical stuff going on. We have, people who want to do everything. We have a lot of instructions this year. We tried to get a CPR certification course. That didn't quite work out, but we'll probably do that again next year. I taught a 1-hour crash course in CPR, which I've done for the past couple of years. And
can you show on Johnny right now, please?
I was going to say, Chris would jump all over that if there was a chick.
Yeah.
She needs some help. He'd be jumping all over that shit.
I'm lonely. I'm not picky right now. Go ahead.
No. That's probably not advisable to do it on a person who's actually conscious. I don't think they like it too much.
My God, you're no fun.
Sorry.
This is coming from the square of the bunch.
I'm very fun. I don't need alcohol to be fun. I'm delightful, Rodger.
I have no comment.
No.
Now, what are some of the? Now, I know there's. Let's talk about some of the actual programming up here. What actually goes on? I know that Marc and Johnny yesterday went to a debate between Dashcoin and Bitcoin, and Johnny just couldn't.
No, it was Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah. I mean, we have 200.
Hold on. Johnny actually was so blown away by it, he passed out from excitement being in the middle of it.
If you support Lions of Liberty on Patreon, you might have seen a photo of Johnny passed out at the Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash.
You were overcome.
Just one reason.
You were overcome, weren't you, Johnny?
Well, so
it was mentally exhausting. That's why I had to take a nap.
Look, I'm surprised that he
Make it
was.
to the introductions.
I'm surprised he was still up when I went to bed last night because he started drinking at something like 9 o'clock yesterday morning, and I never
7.
and I never saw the man without a drink in his hand the entire day and night.
I've never seen him without a drink in his hand since we met yesterday.
Yes, and I was like, I'm like guy from the Trailer Park Boys with the drink in his hand constantly. That's fucking me, Johnny Rocket.
So next
Is this
time,
water, Johnny?
No, it's booze.
next time I'm going to get Johnny on the main stage and just give him a cigarette and a shot of something and just let him go.
Let's hope he makes it to next year. We got to get through today, Rodger.
No, I might die in the next month or two.
Right. But going back to the events, we've got 250 events over 5 days at this event, and there's tracks from everything from, we have the Porcupines, which is an entire track for kids. We've got Teen Central. We've got, we've got tracks on just about everything, crypto and tech. I mean, you name it, we've got tracks. And there's generally 4 or 5 things going on all over the campground for people to attend every single hour of the day. So that's the thing I'm talking about with content is there's something for everybody.
Yeah. That's awesome. What did he miss out of that, Chip?
Oh, we've got a medical staff. I'll just mention that because that's been my thing for the past 2 years. We have a group called Free Aid, which provides volunteer medical services, and we've been doing that since 2011. And I've been part of that as a former paramedic, and there are a lot of good stuff. And so I'll plug them because they rely on donations to bring all the supplies and everything else that they have. And
that's one of the things about working Porcfest. Without the volunteers and without the people like Chip and the other 100 people, if you see somebody with a radio or wearing a Yellow Ranger shirt or picking up trash or whatever the case may be, that's what makes Porcfest happen. And I've got the best team that I have ever worked with in my life this year. They have really picked up so many balls that have been dropped and fixed. I mean, we've had some, there's been some incidents this year, as there always is when you get 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 people together. And our team has handled them all perfectly, professionally, and I have nothing but respect for them. So definitely make sure to thank a volunteer today.
There's something about Rodger talking in that pink microphone that just cracks me up. Can I just point that out right now?
The funny thing is, Jess Mears, who you heard earlier, she's wearing the exact same shade of lipstick as this foam. So it was funny. I
think Rodger should put the same lipstick on.
Honestly, someone get a hold.
Too early for that?
Paging Jess Mears.
Howie agrees, everybody.
All right, thanks for joining us, Chip. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and share a moment in Porcfest personal history that really is why you are dedicated to Porcfest and why you would encourage anybody to come and join us?
Or we could just move on to the real show of the hour. Get done with We Are Libertarians.
Yeah, I mean, let's stop promoting Porcfest to thousands of people. That seems like a good idea, Rodger. My God.
I'm kidding with you, Chris.
I know. All right, well, that's enough of this. Thanks for joining us on this episode of We Are Libertarians. As always, you can find us at wearelibertarians.com twice a week. For those of you in the crowd, I'm literally talking to the couple dozen people here. WeAreLibertarians.com, twice a week, where we take current events and apply libertarian principles. So please join us. And Rodger, thanks for inviting all of us up here. It's great to meet these two. It's great to see you again. And this is really what Porcfest is about. It's being part of a community and getting to reconnect in a personal way outside of being online, which can sometimes fray, I think, personal relationships. So getting to come and
to learn more, subscribe to one of our shows.
Right, exactly. Lions of Liberty, episode 4.
But here's some contentious moments.
League of Liberty.
League of Liberty. Yeah.
But
fine young gentlemen.
It's great to get to see people face to face, especially people that you agree with. For the most part, I think a lot of us feel isolated in our daily lives because this thing is very important in our life, and there aren't a lot of people all around us who get it. So thanks for putting this on, and thanks for inviting us. And it's been a great experience, and I appreciate it.
Well, and thanks for coming. And I'm hoping we can make this a yearly tradition. So let's talk about that.
All right. Thanks for joining us on this episode of We Are Libertarians, and we will see you in just a few days.